What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're going to continue the What to Expect series. And today we're going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks. This is a team that has a lot of excitement, obviously bringing in a guy like Luka Doncic, a guy that people feel like was the best player in the draft, the most all-around player in the draft, the #1 pick in the draft to a lot of people just based off talent, one of the most accomplished players in the EuroLeague history, championships, MVP, everything. And he's coming over and he's playing with Rick Carlisle, one of the best offensive geniuses in the NBA, especially when it comes to getting the best out of his players and putting them in a position where they could succeed. You add that on to Dennis Smith Jr., one of the most athletic, players in the league. Not only that, he has another year under his belt. They did not make the playoffs or even come close to making the playoffs last year, but that's more work you can put onto your body. That's more time you can spend in the gym. And hopefully we get to see a revigorated Dennis Smith Jr. learning and improving for what he did last year. He had little time for improvement because he was so focused on games and so focused on preparing and traveling. He had a whole offseason to really just, study the game of basketball, study how people was guarding them, how they was playing them. And now we should see even better Dennis Smith Jr. He was a #2 pick in the draft, coming out of high school for a reason, and maybe he can take that to another level this season and show you why he should have went earlier in the draft besides where he went. So I like him so far. Hopefully he can be a good fit. He's a guy that likes to get to the basket, likes the little mid-range pull-ups, show potential in hitting threes every once in a while. Hopefully he can do significant improvement because they're going to go under those screens. So he has to be aggressive and knocking down that spot-up three. But not only that, knocking down that mid-range stop and pop jumper, and, of course, explode into the rim with layups and dunks. Not only that, they now have the Andre Jordan, a guy that he can initiate the pick and roll with and roll to the rim and throw lobs and dunks, but also that makes somebody that you have to pay attention to, meaning Dennis Smith Jr. should get a lot of benefits playing with somebody that can actually draw attention, roll hard, and always stay in that paint area. So worst case scenario, you always got somebody to dump it off and lob to in that paint, because DeAndre is so long and athletic that he can damn near catch anything if you throw it up there, and that's an easy 2 points every time, and it's also an easy assist for a guy like Dennis Smith Jr. and Luka Doncic because he can play in the pick and roll, and he's a better player than Dennis Smith because he does have the shooting ability, and I would definitely like to see how they handle ball handling duties on the basketball court. And remember, Harrison Barnes is on this team. He's a guy that plays better in isolation. He likes to get the ball in the post area, high post, mid post, triple threat position, get pump fakes to get to the basket, hit that spot up jump shot. Not only that, get out in transition, get layups and dunks, and also hit those corner and spot up threes. Having those two guys on the wing, and hopefully Harrison Barnes can perfect that corner three, so that way they can have that floor space. And Dirk already has gravity, being the big that can shoot the three, to shoot the mid-range, and also create his own shots. Still at age 40 means everybody on the court is a threat. That means you have to really be paying attention to this Dallas team because they can really cut you up if you don't pay attention, and they can out-execute you too. But the problem is defensively. Dirk might be a liability most likely at age 40. He's going to get switched on a lot. He's going to get attacked a lot. And he has been injury prone the last couple seasons as he has got older. So we don't even know how many games he's really going to play. And on top of that, Dennis Smith Jr. isn't the best defender either. So I can see him getting attacked. And him being in the West, you have to go against a lot of scoring point guards. Probably the toughest in the conference are all going to be coming at you every night, every day. Even the younger ones like, De'Aaron Fox and Lonzo Ball, those guys coming back probably developed and became a lot better. So there's really no days off in the Western Conference so that for that point guard position. So Dennis Smith Jr., he's going to be getting attacked every night and always going to be needing help. And who is going to be that help defender? Well, they have now DeAndre Jordan to anchor that defensive end and the paint, but, especially rotating and help defense. But can he really do that knowing that the West has some of the best big men in the league? So it's going to be very hard for this Dallas team to really keep people in front of them and buying into a defensive concept. And even Doncic isn't the best defender. Even when he played overseas, he was never the best defender in the draft either. So this team going to give up a lot of points, but they also going to score and keep in games because they're going to be hard to stop. Like they won 24, 25 games last year, and it was really, them having injury problems and them not being able to click right away. But this year, it's a whole different ball game, adding upgrades at two positions in DeAndre and Doncic, while still bringing back the same core that already has chemistry together. They have more dynamics, more versatility, more ball handling, more shooting, more playmakers. And, this should just be one of their better seasons. Now, the problem with that is this team is definitely going to have some problems bench-wise to me. They got a lot of people that's trying to put their name out there and trying to show that they deserve minutes. None of these players are ready to come out and dominate right away. I can tell you that much. So their bench is going to be a huge issue. I can definitely see that at the end of the day, this team playing their starters a lot of minutes. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because Dennis Smith Jr. and Luka Doncic, Harrison Barnes, and DeAndre are all young enough to play 35-plus minutes anyway. Ain't like they're an old aging team trying to, get as much squeeze out of their players as possible. They got a young, up-and-coming team. Even though DeAndre Jordan is significantly older than the other guys, he's still not that old. He's still young enough to play those type of minutes. And they don't really have too much replacement. This is a very fragile team. If this team suffers any major injuries, I can see this team really struggling to win games, especially if they lose a guy like Doncic or Dennis Smith. They don't really have any real replacement. You can say JJ, but JJ just ain't the same as he was years ago. He's 34 years old. Ain't like he's still 25, 26. He's getting older, and he's losing a lot of explosiveness, and he has to rely a lot more on that jump shot as he gets older, which is fine because he can knock it down, but when it becomes a little bit more predictable. Dennis Smith Jr. he has more of an attack, and you don't really know what to expect because he's so explosive, and hopefully he has improved that consistency in his jump shot. But the depth on this team is one of their biggest flaws, especially if they're trying to make a playoff run. You have to have good backups, especially in the Western Conference, because if you go on a 5, 6, 7 game losing streak, it's going to be hard to get back in the playoffs, especially when you have to acclimate that person back into the offense. And then you just got used to playing without them, then you got to plug them right back in. And we don't know if they're going to, we don't know how many games that person would miss. Like I said, if you go on a 5, 6, 7 game losing streak, you most likely ain't making the playoffs this year because these teams are so stacked in the West. Like I said, the Sacramento Kings has talent. This Dallas Maverick has talent. Even the Phoenix Suns have talent. So the Western Conference can go at least 8, 9, 10 deep of teams that could potentially win 40-plus games. Remember last year, they had 9 teams that went 40 deep in the win column, and I can see it going one more deep this year. I can definitely see this Dallas Maverick team hovering around, 27 to 35 wins just because of their offense. They're going to be a team that's going hit you, if you don't come prepared, or y'all not on the same page, or y'all underestimate this team, or they hit you early in the season where you don't really know how to guard them, you don't really know the plays they're going to run, you don't really know how they're going to utilize their players. And this team, I can definitely see getting off to a hot start and really catching a lot of teams off guard early, which those W's hurt you more. I mean, those losses hurt you more going into the playoffs, because those are the games you wish you would have won against the bad teams in the NBA. But once teams start to figure out what they want to do and figure out how to guard this team, is up to the young players to make that, that to make a counter. Don't hit the wall. Don't be predictable. But after they start adjusting and after teams start getting acclimated to this team, it's up to this team to have the counters, to have the plays, to continue to go. And that's going to be the thing that's going to be for this Dallas Mavericks team. After they give you the surprise factor of how they're going to run the offense, can they continue to win games consistently throughout the NBA season as a team that hasn't really played well together, hasn't really closed games that well either? Trying to find out who's the best player, who's the go-to guy on this team, finding out who, is really going to run the offense mainly through it. Will Dennis Smith Jr. be the primarily the player that's going to run the offense like last year? Will it be Harrison Barnes and Doncic running more plays for them, and more ball handling for Doncic to get them comfortable and running that pick and roll, being the focal point of the offense? Or will they just do a ball movement friendly offense? Everybody touch the ball, everybody make the right pass, everybody cut to the paint, everybody try to beat your person off the dribble to create some type of initiation or collapsing the defense. It's going to be very interesting to see how Rick Carlisle use all the tools to his disposal and really try to build a balanced offense for this team. But once teams start figuring them out, that's when I start thinking that they fall off and become a team that's going to be hard for them to close out, will close out games, hard for them to win against the teams with more talent, especially because they don't have a bench and really don't have players they can rely on consistently off that bench. So I think those are going to be the main Achilles heels to why this team isn't going to win the 42, 43 games to win to make it into the playoffs. And it's just small. It's a growing pain. It's not that this team is trash. It's not that this team isn't ready to make the playoffs. It just, at the end of the day, it's a learning curve. Doncic has never played in the NBA in his whole career. DeAndre Jordan has never played with none of these players in his whole career. And Harrison Barnes have to get back adjusted to not being the primary scorer. He has to play within the offense, even though he can do it because he did it in Golden State. That's something that he has to do now, adding Doncic and more touches for Dennis Smith as he continues to improve. But like I said, I do see this team surprising a lot of teams. I do see this team being one of the top 15 offenses in the NBA, but I also see them being one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. And at the end of the day, that's going to cost them a couple of spots, and that sees them making around the 11th or 12th spot in the West, and that's not good enough to make it to the playoffs. But it will possibly be good enough to get them another top 10 pick, which they can possibly try to find a replacement for Harrison Barnes, or even try to shore up that number 2 position for, Wesley Matthews going out. Maybe they don't want to pay Harrison Barnes the money that they paid him now, and maybe they want to find a small forward or move Doncic to the small forward position and find a real 2. Maybe even find a replacement for DeAndre Jordan, so you don't have to pay him $20 million a year after this season if he does work out. And if he don't work out, maybe you say, hey, we want to go in the younger route so we can build with Doncic and Smith, and try to find a replacement for center in the draft, because there's some solid centers in the draft that got potential this year. So it depends on where they go in the lottery, who they pick, who they select, obviously. So we will have to wait and see how the season unfold and see how the lottery unfold to see what decisions that they will really make. That's a video for another day. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com, in the description in the comment section below. Actually, also check out my Spreadshirt. There you can buy all types of merchandise, whether it's a pillowcase, whether it's a a mouse pad, whether it's even a t-shirt or a hoodie. You can purchase those on my Spreadshirt. That will be in the comment section and in the description below. Thanks for the support. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for checking out my old videos. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about the Dallas Mavericks. Will they surprise teams? Will they still be a bad team? Will Doncic be Rookie of the Year? I'll talk about that later. Will he be a bust? Is he overrated? Will DeAndre Jordan make him a great defensive team? Will he not be good enough to make him a great defensive team? Or do you just think Dennis Smith Jr. going to take over and average 30?